Hey all, this is the walkthrough of the week 1 assignment. So for you guys, this week you have two options on which assignment you want to do. You can either do a study guide, which has a template, or a PowerPoint, which does not. But you could just kind of use the template as a guide if you wanted to for that. You'll see mine says faculty materials. Don't worry about that. You'll just see the student ones, which will be the Center of Writing Excellence, the list style rubric, the table style rubric, the video playlist where you would have hopefully clicked on to find this, and then, the template that is APA formatted. I'm going to go through all of this in the rubric because it's just easier. It is. Okay, let's open that. I feel like everything opened, don't I? Let me pause this so I can open the right. Okay, this is the list style rubric, so what you'll see basically as the instructions. So imagine that you were asked to tutor another student on the fundamental concepts of chemistry, the scientific method, and the differences between the plant cell, animal cell, and bacterial. So here you get basically a point for everybody, and then 2 points for reference, 1 point for reference, 1 for format. So we're going to talk about chemical reactions that occur in the body. Really try to have some atoms. Talk about a specific one, what water is doing, something that's happening. There's a lot of chemistry in the body. The purpose of the scientific method, why we use it, how to develop a hypothesis, tell me how to develop it, how to design an experiment using the scientific method. Also remember that when you're designing it, what you need to keep out of it, like biases, okay? And the primary, and don't just list the steps of the scientific method, actually tell me how you would develop your experiment. So that means you might want to look up how to design an experiment. Primary structures of plants, animals, and bacterial cells, and the role of each structure, and then how each of those kinds of cells makes energy, and then what's unique. And then we have, you can make your own template design or use the template. Personally, I would just use the template because why reinvent the wheel? Choice is yours. For references, you need at least 3. One can be the textbook, but you need to have 2 more. So easy thing to do is if you can't find something in the textbook, Google it and find something that is a credible source. A great way to do this is to do things like up here, chemical reactions that occur in the body. That sounds something like I would Google, you know? Okay. And then a point for format. You need to have full references and in-text citations. If you do not have both of these, I will not give you score. It will be a 0. We got to get this down fast. You've got to learn those citations and those references. It's a research-heavy class. We want to make sure you can research like a pro. And the first part of that is citations. We can do that. Okay, so if you choose B, which is the PowerPoint, the same intro, it's just going to be now is an at least 14-point slide. You're going to cover the same thing. Remember, in your slide you will have a picture. So you might have the picture of the different chemical reactions in the body. Then you'll talk about it in your speaker notes. Make sure you talk about it in the speaker notes. So you'll have a picture or like maybe 3 bullet points with 3 to 4 words on a bullet point. Nothing too big. You'll do that for each prompt. Make sure if you do this that I would really look at the template still, so that I could see exactly how much I need to go into depth, because here it just kind of sticks all those primary structures together, and you still need to do the bacterial, animal, and plant ones. So just make sure you cover those. It's really best to do 1 per slide. Just the best way is to do it. Same thing, got to have those 3 references. Same thing, if I don't have in text in full, I'm going to get irritated. And make sure for this one, you got to use those speaker notes. Don't put everything on the slide. Put most of your words in the speaker notes. You're thinking presentation. You don't want people to just be reading your presentation. You want them to be listening to you. That's what speaker notes is all about. Okay, then we're going to scroll down. This reminds you to use like the right point powered by Grammarly. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. I'm really in love with the whole let's see how many times I use a word thing, because I love the word however. And then reference citation generator, if you have not used it, it is your new best friend. Use it, you will love it. It pops out that full reference, and then it gives you in-text citations that you can just copy and paste. Oh, it's beautiful. The only thing is that if you do use it or another generator, make sure you Control A at the end of typing your paper and pick out your font and your font size again, and make sure everything's black, because sometimes it will paste in a different font and color. Okay, I'm going to pause this and make it bigger because you can't see the top of my Word document, and then I will show you the traditional. Okay, so here's the more traditional rubric, and now you can see the top of my paper. I'm so happy. So the same thing, it just goes through the study guide or the PowerPoint. It's going to be 1 point for each of those. And you notice again, it is the primary structures of plant cells, animals, and bacterial. So make sure you cover all of those. And then the references, you need to have at least 3 references. If you don't, it's going to be a 0 for your reference, which is only half a point, but later it's going to add more and more, right? And you need those in-text citations. If you don't have in-text citations, it's going to be a 0 on the paper. If you don't have a full reference, it's going to be 0 on the paper. If you don't have, that's just, you got to have them. You got to learn this. Do this. I know you can do it. And then for format, it's only one option. Just pick the one that works. Remember, for a study guide, I want 3 complete sentences per a prompt. Not just like a half sentence. You got to give me 3. And then they can be short sentences or they can be long. A lot of people tend to write paragraphs. So this is only for the few of you who are like, I did it. You got to have a little bit more in there. I got to make sure you understand what you're talking about. I want to give you that full credit. So make sure that I realize you know what's going on, right? And then the PowerPoint is going to be, you want complete sentences. Again, 3. It's going to all be in speaker notes for it. And that's all I did for this. So let me pop up that template, which is over here. So template, you can see, is APA formatted. Hopefully it looks like this for you. I have the title there for you already. You just put in your name and the date and bam, title page is done. So nice. I already put in the title heading. You got a space, even though technically it shouldn't be there. So in here, it goes through the prompts, the different parts, and then you just type in. Nicely, the text box will extend, so it is not an issue on how much you type, right? Remember, 3 sentences at least. Make sure you talk about having an unbiased experiment. And then I highlighted it red for plant cell, just so that you all remember we're on plants now. You talk about all the stuff for plants. If you're doing a PowerPoint, like I said, I would still use this as an outline, just to be like, did I do that? And instead of typing in the answer in here, of course you'd be doing that in PowerPoint, and I might just put a check in here and be like, check, did that, Just be like, bam, done. Okay, then we have animal cells. We're going to do all of those. All good. Bacterial cells, going through all of those. You see page break, and on the next page is your references. You're going to have all your references here in ABC order by first word, ignoring A and the, anything like that. I want them in APA, hanging indents, and double spacing. Shouldn't be a problem because everything is already set up to be double spaced. So it should be really nice and easy and get you into that APA format that we love so much because it's our favorite. I could talk about for format for probably like an hour. I'm a format Nazi. But now you know. And remember, you can always submit a rough draft of either the PowerPoint or the study guide, whichever version that you do, as long as you do it before typically Monday at noon. If for some reason I have to change that deadline and move it up, I'll let you know via a note in the class messages. Just once in a while, I have a life. I know, the teacher doesn't sit around just hang out for you, just do something. It's horrible. Okay, I hope this helps. I hope this explained everything. I hope if you guys choose the PowerPoint or the study guide that you enjoy it, you learn something, that you use the different references, sources. You can use the textbook, which please, for the other 2 sources, I hope you use something that's outside the textbook. Just, start digging in. Like if something doesn't make sense, you got to go find out what it is. Okay, bye.